only promote the truth.
We're going in. Let's make sure we got the mic check ready. Yeah, the mic check looks good. I want to welcome everybody live stream. We told you we're going to do everything in our power to go 30 days straight. So we're here. Again, you don't know what time I'm coming on during the day because there's so many things happening with the project, with the work that we do, with our families, the whole nine. Y'all understand, you got to be able to fit these times in. And that's why I love live streams. And that's why it's important when you come on that you subscribe to the channels and then you hit that notification bell and put that thing on always. That way you'll immediately get a notification coming straight to your phone. It'll just hit you and tell you that we're going live and we're going in. So I'm excited to be here. Great to see everybody. Yeah, as you come in, drop your name and tell everybody where you're coming in from. You say your city, say your state. You want to say your city, say your country. If you're outside the USA, say your country, say your city. Represent where you're from. Let people who see this in the replays, because that's where most people see this. They see it in the replays. Like you can go check. I'm over here looking. My goodness. Let me go over here and look at the replay numbers. And it's crazy when you look at how many people. So, for example, the one we did the other day, there was like 640 some people saw that afterwards. Another one, there was 931. Then another one, there was 1,019. Then there was 600 and 1,075. So we're talking anywhere from 500 to like over 1,000 people are going to see this on the replay. So that's why it's great to drop your name in, say where you're coming from. You're coming in from your city, your state, your city, your country. And what I'm noticing is people are getting energized. So you guys are really, really, really important to the witness. So the topic today is, are you a worker for the kingdom of Yahuwah? Now, this is fresh today off the translation of Yahuwah chapter 9. We'll start to pick up momentum now. You start to get a flow. When you're translating, you pick up a flow. And so now it's starting to get a flow. But I got to tell you, there's sometimes when you're translating, the way we're translating from the real words as they were meant to happen in the idioms and the ways, you got to study the ways. Most people don't understand that you got to study the ways, the way of the times, how they spoke. You see, I spent 6 to 10 hours a day for over 3 years studying etymology, like the origin of words and idioms. How were people living? How did they react back then? There's all types of evidence, all types of clues. That's why I love, the science that you can go utilize. I love history. You can go pick up all these prints. But what I really love when it comes to the Briyt Hadash, I'm so excited about like the family of the Peshitta. There's 360 different manuscripts that were spread out over 1,500 years. 360. Okay, let me make this, because when you say this, people don't really grab it unless you break it down. Okay, it's 360 different ways of writing or different people that wrote. So we're somewhere around 360. Now, I'm sure that somebody wrote more than one, but 360. Now, here's the 360. 360 different copies of Matthew, Yahuwah. 360 different copies of Mark. 360 different copies of Luke. 360 different copies of John, Yahuwah. 360 copies of Mahashim, Acts. 360 copies of Ramaim, Romans, and on and on and on. 360 that were found in different cities, different regions, over 1,500 years. When they brought them together and they compared them, they're almost identical. That's like a miracle. They're almost identical family. Do we understand how important that is? Now, what that does is that puts us in a predicament with how we came to our faith. See, how we came to believe what we believe. Most people think that their beliefs are their beliefs. And I challenge people all the time. I go, you're not really believing the way you believe. You might think so. You were programmed to believe a certain way. Now, you can get into the spiritual side, and what I love about it is the human side. We understand there's so much power in the subconscious mind, that the subconscious mind runs your entire being. Do you know that your immune system is housed in your subconscious mind? Your immune system is housed in your subconscious mind. Now, pay attention how this relates to Scripture. From 0 to 7 years of age, our subconscious mind, the deepest part of programming, happens from 0 to 7. See, this is a big deal. From 0 to 7. I study subconscious programming and thought processes about as intense as anybody you've ever met. I've studied how does the brain work? How do we get to where we're at? This is all part of my process. This is all part of studying to show yourself approved. It's not just the word of the scriptures, but also how your makeup is. Where did you come from? You should be looking at yourself, seeing that you're a miracle. Man, wow. So here we go. I'm going to help y'all here. From 0 to 7, your subconscious mind is set up to run you for the rest of your life. So most adults are walking around in their 0 to 7 body. Now, here's the issue. Did you have any say-so over what happened to you from 0 to 7? Did you choose who your parents were? Did you choose what food you got fed? Did you choose any of it? Did you choose how you were talked to? Did you choose how you were educated? Did you choose how your religious beliefs would be, your spiritual beliefs would be? No. You had nothing to say about it. You goo-goo gaga, maybe you threw a fit here and there, but guess what? Somebody else was running your life. And what they were doing was programming you. And most people don't put enough weight on that when it comes to their spiritual life. That's why YAHUAH said, unless a person is born again, they will not enter the kingdom. And what did Nicodemus say? Nicodemus said, you mean to tell me, you try to tell me to go back up in my mother's womb? And of course, he's like, of course not. You got to be born of what? Spirit. And what that spirit does is reprogram you. You see, when you repent and you call on the name of YAHUAH, and then you got to do this thing. Family, listen, you got to do this thing. Then you get immersed into his name. The immersion, it really takes up the level of the conversion. So the immersion turns up your level of conversion. There's some people, they repent for the remission or the forgiveness of sins, and then they don't go store up any treasure. They don't go build anything off of that. Now, I don't know how YAHUAH is going to deal with all that. We just got stories where he's not happy with the person that took their talent and they went and hid it and buried it. In the parable of the talents, it's obvious that YAHUAH wants us to multiply in our conversion. That's why he said, go forth and make disciples out of all nations. And then he says what? Immerse them, and most people miss it. And I'm here to help you get free tonight. Watch this, or today, wherever you're at. He says, go forth and immerse them. Sign name, baptize them. And what did he say? Immerse them in. Did he actually say, go immerse them in water? Did he say do that? No. It's kind of unique when you slow it down. Is water a good thing? Yes. Why? Because YAHUAH did it. But YAHUAH said, go forth, immersing in the name. He wants your immersion dominantly in his name. And he named who he, the Father, and the set apart Spirit is. YAHUAH. He didn't say go forth and immerse, baptize in the names, plural. Didn't say it. He said in the name, which is above all names. That's YAHUAH. That's why we're helping people get out of that confusion of that old programming, that 0 to 7, and then that just sets you up. You see, if you got programmed the wrong way from 0 to 7, you are set up to never get it. You're never going to get it if you don't deal with that programming. If you don't be born again and reprogram your body, your spirit, your mind, your soul, then you will never enter the kingdom. Unless a person be born again, they will not enter the kingdom of YAHUAH. Not going to happen. So the challenge today for everybody listening, and for me, I'm tore up, as a matter of fact. It's really kind of hard for me not to just start crying right now. Let me tell y'all the truth. For me, it's really hard for me not to just bust out crying now. Now, my wife, y'all give a shout out to my wife, Lena, because she had to come. And she had to come and really console and encourage me this morning. She had to. Because when I got done translating Yahuwah chapter 9, when I get to the last of it, it's hard for me. It was hard for me to get through it. She looked at me, she goes, what? Like, what's going on? Like, I know she was just curious as all get out, because she was walking out the door. I'm sitting there translating, finishing up chapter 9, and she's wondering what's going on. And it was almost unbearable for I don't know why. I do know why. And maybe y'all can throw some love and support between one another in some my way, because we got to really understand what Yahushua was doing here. Like what happened in chapter 9 that's so significant that it just tore me up this morning. It just tore me up, fam. I got to tell you, it tore me up. And I don't know how a person reads it and don't get tore up unless the words they're reading are not put in the right way. So that's why my level of conviction towards the Truth Scriptures Project is just going up and up and up and up. It's going so high. It's such a trip. I never imagined the deep emotional side of the translations. I never imagined that I would be going through this deep of an emotional experience. This is emotional. This is so spiritually emotional. I'm telling y'all. Y'all pray for your brother here. I need y'all to pray for me when I'm going through this, because there's sometimes, man, you're in there like you're just like walking step by step with Yahushua, because you got to get the word, get the idiom. You got to take all the training you got for all these 30 years I've been training, and you got to be able to just get immersed into the word, right? Like you're literally immersed in the word. So when you're translating that word out of Aramaic or Hebrew over into English, make sure it keeps its true meaning. And then all of a sudden, when you're raw like that, see, I know most of these people, man, they're doing it for profit. King James, New King James, NIV. If I talk to those people, United Bible Society, all them, I say, man, y'all focused on profit. Because if there's no way you could get down in the trenches and you could translate these words and not have a true conversion. There's no way that if you're a translator and you're in the trenches translating these words, there's no way you can't get converted. But if you come in there for profit and you're trying to please other people, men and women, and you say, I don't want to offend nobody, let me take Yahuwah's name out. These people, you understand, they know what a yod is. I should say a yud. They know what a yud is. That Y in Yahuwah's name, they know it. They know what a hey is. They know it. They know it's ah. They know every time a hey is an ah. They know it. They know what a YAHUAH is. They know that YAHUAH is a ooh. It's a double ooh. Ooh. Hear it? Ooh. Ah. They know that last letter is a hey. They know it. They know the last letter is a hey. And as translators, to look at that that yud, hey, YAHUAH, hey, that says YAHUAH. And it's the breath of life. And to literally cover it up, no. They won't profit. All you gotta do is the breath of life. Everybody do it with me. Ready? Say Yah. So when you say Yah, you exhale. Ready? Yah. When you say ooh, now inhale it. You don't even have to touch your lips or anything. Just go Yah. That's all the breath of life. Yeah. Y'all catch that? To take the breath of life that gives us life and go, nah, about 7,000 times, we're going to move that out of here so we can sell more of these Bibles. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. It's the greatest deception of all time. It's the greatest deception of all time. To take their word and remove it, the word that's the most word used in all the scriptures. No, we're going to take that out. So now when I'm sitting there translating, and I got to pull it up. Let me see. I was translating. Let me go right into it, y'all, because this, can y'all tell I'm still a little tore up? I didn't even know how I was going to get on here with y'all. I'm glad I took hours. I had to go run some errands with my wife and be with my son. Took hours. I'm glad I took hours, because if I'd have got on here straight off of that, y'all have been in here. I just been boo-hooing, crying, because I was jacked up, man, reading this. And I don't know how you get a good word. And even all the stuff we put out, promote the truth. I don't know how you hear all this and you don't get on fire for Yahuwah. And guess what? Many of you are starting to get it, and hallelujah. So many of you are suddenly, for really the first time in your life, you're becoming workers for the kingdom. So I'm going to read something to you straight out of the translation, the purest translation, I believe, in the entire world in the English language. It's got to be the purest. Why? It's all over me. You can't tell me that Yahuwah Ruach ain't in me when I know he's in me, working in me, because I know I didn't choose originally to do this. I ran from this. People say, oh, what's the motivation? What's the this? What's the that? It's Yahuwah would not let me go. And I felt he finally got to a point where he said, you decide or I am going to let you go. And I could feel that separation about to happen. But I was running. Some of y'all know what it's like to run. Why? Because you're so confused about the word. So we're going to help a lot of people stop running because they're going to see the word so clear. And I'm going to read you something. Matit Yahu, the real translation. I'm going to verse 35. Now I'm going to skip around in chapter 9. But I'm going to go to the end and then I'm going to work it back. Yahusha traveled among all the cities and the villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the Bashura. Bashura means good news, great news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and every sickness. Do we understand this? Now, everybody, let's go deal with Yahusha right now. Y'all ready? Let's go deal with it. Now, when Yahusha saw the crowds of people, he was moved with compassion for them because they were distressed and scattered like sheep that do not have a shepherd. Yahusha was cut in his heart. He was deeply, deeply moved The Aramaic and Hebrew word is so deep when you study it. He was cut up, he was tore up in his being when he looked out at the crowds of people. Then he said to his disciples, the harvest, see, we keep saying the harvest is plentiful. Watch this real translation, fam. The harvest is bigger than you can imagine. That's the real translation. The harvest is bigger than you can imagine. I got chills all over my arms right now. But the workers are very few. Pray to the master of the harvest that he sends workers for his harvest. How y'all feel when you hear Yahushua talking to us right here? He's talking throughout eternity. He knew we'd be sitting here. He knew somebody would figure out how to translate this the right way. He knew somebody would be able to convey this to people where they would go, oh. Now, why was I so emotional? Like when I got through reading that, I leaned back in my chair and I started bawling, crying. When I read that, I leaned back in my chair. Lena came in the room like, what's going on? I said, honey, I can't hardly take it. And she said, why? I said, look at this. And then I went up in the top of the chapter. I said, baby, I've been walking with Yahushua through chapter 9. As he's starting to get out and about. See, after the immersion that he had with YAHUAH and the immerser, after he had his, quote, baptism, and he came out, right? He went through his temptation, 40 days, 40 nights. He went through the 40-day temptation, right? He comes out of that 40 days. They said he was hungry. He was starving, as a matter of fact. But he resisted, which is what we got to do. He resisted Shaitan, the evil one. He came out of it after 40 days of fasting. It says right when he said, Shaitan, go away. He said, then the devil, Shaitan, flee, gone. And then you got to notice something very unique. It says that the messengers came and ministered to him. They came and comforted him and built him back up. So now he's got this, he's done got himself geared up because he's dealing with the flesh like we're dealing with the flesh. Most people don't understand that the Messiah came, the Most High, Yahuwah himself came as a man, feeling everything we feel, and he got himself girded up. And then he went out. And when he went out, what's the one thing we noticed that he just did? Well, number one, he got him some workers. Number one, he got some workers. Oh, yeah, he walked down by the waters. He saw Kappa. He saw his brother. Said, come follow me. I'll make you fishers of men and women, of humans. Come on. Oh, yeah, he just kept walking. He kept collecting some workers. What does that tell us? Even the Most High said, it's not good for me to do this all by myself. I'm gonna get some workers because I'm dealing with human beings. And so he keeps on walking. He keeps on walking. Now listen to me, because I couldn't hardly break through this. When I read that at the bottom of verse 9, and I come back up, as he's walking, he continues on from there, verse 9. He saw a man named Yahuwah sitting at a tax collection booth. He said to him, follow me. He got him some work. He got him another worker. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And guess what Yahuwah did? He didn't look to the left or right. He didn't go say, Mom and Dad, I got to go. It says right here, he says, he got up and followed him immediately. As Yahushua sat down to eat at Yahuwah's house, many tax collectors and sinners came and joined Yahushua and his disciples at the table. When the Parashim, the Pharisees, saw this, they said to Yahushua's disciples, why does your teacher eat with the tax collectors and sinners? But when Yahushua heard this, he said, healthy people don't need a doctor, but sick people do. See, how long is it going to take us to get this, fam? We got a lot of sick people in this world. This world is filled with sickness of the soul, of the body. And then Yahushua says to them, go and learn what this means when it says, I desire mercy and not sacrifice. I did not come to call the righteous people, but the sinners. Hallelujah. At that time, see, now when you come and do the right thing, even people around that have right intentions, those people, if they're not completely on the mission with the Mashiach, they'll even get a little mixed up. Because right after that, Yahuhanan, the immerser, his disciples came and said to him, why do we and the Parashim fast often, but your disciples never fast? See, people always want to question when you on the right track. People always want to question. All right. Yahushua said to them, the wedding guests can't mourn while the groom is still with them, can they? But the day will come when the groom will be taken away. You see? The day will come when the groom will be taken away. I love it. Then they will fast. He said, that's going to happen. But what he was really saying, it's none of your business. It's none of your business. Pay attention to what I'm doing. See, we need to be paying attention to what Yahushua's doing. While Yahushua was speaking to them about different things, he went into the wineskins and all that. A ruler came and knelt down in front of him, saying, my daughter has just died. But if you come and place your hand on her, she will live. Look at that faith. So Yahushua and his disciples got up and went with him. On the way, a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years came up behind Yahushua, and she touched the hem of his clothes. She thought to herself, if I could only touch his robe, I will be healed. Pay attention to the lessons, fam. And the woman was healed at that very moment. The woman was healed that very moment. When y'all, you know what he said to her? Daughter, be encouraged. Your faith has healed you. What is it that heals us? What is it that gives us a breakthrough? It's our faith. Are we going to decide to believe YAHUAH when he sent us the greatest example ever, Yahushua HaMashiach? Are we going to decide to believe him? Watch. When Yahushua arrived at the ruler's house, he's on the way to handle business, but on the way, he was getting business done. When Yahushua arrived at the ruler's house, he saw the flute players and the distressed crowd of people. He said, go away, because the little girl is not dead. She is only sleeping. But they laughed at him. After Yahushua had sent the crowd away, he went in and took her by the hand, and the little girl got up. News about this spread throughout the entire region. As Yahushua departed from there, two blind men followed him, crying out and saying, have mercy on us, son of David. When Yahushua went into the house, the blind man approached him. Yahushua said to them, now everybody listen, because he's saying this to us tonight. As he said to the blind men, do you believe I am able to do this? My question to everybody listening here, do you believe that Yahuwah is able to do this for you, what you really want? They said to him, yes, master. Then he touched their eyes and said, according to your faith, it has been done for you. And their eyes were opened. They went out and spread that word throughout the entire region. As they were leaving, they brought him another man who was possessed with a demon, who was unable to even talk. When Yahushua cast out the demon, the man began to talk. The crowds were amazed and said, nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel. Yahushua just traveled among all the cities. Now we're back down to it. Teaching in their synagogues and preaching the Bashura, the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and sickness. Now when Yahushua saw the crowds of people, he was moved with compassion for them because they were distressed and scattered like sheep that do not have a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, then he said to us tonight, the harvest is bigger than you can imagine, but the workers are very few. Pray to the master of the harvest that he sends workers for his harvest. Are you a worker? After you hear that and you slow it down and you walk through that and you go and walk with Yahushua as I was doing through translation, and then you see he's healing one after the next, and everybody they brought to him, there's no record where he turned somebody down. Everybody they brought to him, he healed them. And then he looked around and the crowds were getting more and more. And I'm telling y'all, it's coming based on a real word that we're bringing. The crowds are coming from around the world. Just look at it. If you're paying attention to what's going on with Promote the Truth, the crowds are starting to come. And I'm going to say to y'all, when Yahushua said to them, I'm going to say the exact thing. He looked over at him. His heart was cut like mine was cut today. Can nobody tell me my soul wasn't just tore up? My wife came over and consoled me. She said, baby, why are you bawling, crying? I couldn't even get my words out. As a matter of fact, Lena, you could tell him. I said, you got to read this. I said, just read verses 35 through 38 that I just got through translating because I can't speak. And I didn't even say that. I just said, you know how when you can't talk and you're crying so hard, but you're getting a few words out where somebody can kind of piece it together? I don't know how she completely understood me. But she read it and she had tears in her eyes. And you should be tore up tonight, today, or wherever you're at. You should be cutting your heart. Because Yahushua is pleading with us. Yahushua is saying the harvest is bigger than any of you can imagine. He's literally looking and saying, Stone, Donna, David, Amber, Trust in Yah, Weldon, William, Mike, Kappa, Stephanie, YRK, Andy, Lena. He's saying the harvest is bigger than your name can think, but the workers are few. And then he says, just pray to the Father, Yahuwah, send some more workers here for your harvest. Who's going up? Shall we go up? Shall we take the challenge that Yahushua has given us and get to work? What does that mean, get to work? That means you got to be a walking, talking, living witness. Baruch Abba Basham Yahuwah. Blessed is the one that comes in the name of Yahuwah. Are you coming in Yahuwah's name day in, day out? Because we are. We are. You see, if you take this challenge tonight, Yahuwah's got it all over my heart, got it all over my soul. He's got it all over my being. If you take this challenge tonight and you go to work, all you got to do is lift your voice. Like right now, some of y'all can hit the like button. That's part of work. Some of y'all can hit the share button. That's big work. If you go over and hit the share button, what's going to pop up? You're going to see things like Facebook and like Twitter. I'm showing you how to work today's time. This is how you work today. We got the internet. There's no excuse for us not to have this everywhere, all over the place, every language. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got WhatsApp, you got your email, you got Reddit, you got Pinterest, you got Blogger, you got Tumblr, you got LinkedIn, you got TikTok, we got YouTube. Everybody can be sharing all over the place. How many times do you share a good message every day? You get on and go live, or you go ahead and share this live. It doesn't matter. Not everybody is good at doing the talking. We understand that. Not everybody. But I know how to get these words out of Yahuwah. I know how to do it. I'm not ashamed to tell you, he told me how to do it, put it in my throat. They came from my mind and my soul and my spirit. And out of the abundance of my heart, my mouth is speaking. And y'all can just send me out if you want to. Yeah. Send me out. Hallelujah. The workers are few. But when it says the workers are few, you can't have your name outside of few. You can't be one of the ones that's outside. You got to be part of the few. And if you do this challenge, if you take on this challenge, let me make you a promise. In the name of Yahuwah, hallelujah. In the name of Yahuwah, if you become a great worker and you get caught working when you die. See, I want to get caught working. I want to get caught. When I'm snatched out of here, when I leave this body, I want the last thing I did in this body was work for Yahuwah. Yes. And if you do this, you get to hear this. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. You get the connection? Workers are what? Few. There's your connect. I gave it to you. Hardly anybody's read that and connected that to that word. Yahuwah showed me that in the spirit. He goes, that's the few. That's the few. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. What's the few things? The work. You was a worker. You might not have had to say the words right. You might not know how to pronounce everything right. But guess what? You were saying Yahuwah. You were saying Baruch Haba Bashem Yahuwah. When people say God bless you, you say, no, he don't. Yahuwah bless you. Yeah, that's some work. We got some work to do. We're in this pagan holiday season. It's hot. It is filled up with filth of paganism to distract and to take away from Yahuwah. And we go to work, we can tear some people down. We can have people saying, you know what? I was about to go celebrate Christmas, but there ain't no way I'm going to do it after hearing this. And I'm going to come out with a hot Christmas message. How many of y'all want me to come out with a hot one? How many of y'all want me to get one where you can just send it out and send it out and send it out? Go, hey, if you're going to celebrate Christmas, first, listen to this. Anybody want me to put together a hot one where I clip it from every corner? Oh, yeah, I'm going to work. I'm in works mode. And I'm going to stay in work mode. And I've been in work mode. Yeah. So the question tonight is, are you going to work? Because we're working. And that translation project, it's a ton of work. And we need your help. We need your help. Y'all know what time it is. We need your help. We got to talk about it. Support it. Y'all can help this thing. Y'all can speed it up. Go over to tsnt.org. Contribute somehow. Do something. I tell people, do you have to? No. Should you? Yes. For who? For you first. Believe it or not. Believe this or not. You should do this for you first. That's what you should do it for. You should do it for you. So you can say, I planted some good seed in good ground because I know we're going to work with this project. This project, when these scriptures come out, when we get out, just the Briyt Hadash, I'm so glad Yahuwah said, hey, time out. Go over to the Briyt Hadash first. We already was getting almost done with YAHUAH, Leviticus. And Yahuwah said, stop. We got Bereshit done. That's all of Genesis. We got Exodus done. That's Shemut done. Almost done with YAHUAH. And Yahuwah said, stop. And I'm going to tell you how he said, stop. All the different questions coming in. All the different challenges that were coming in. I started seeing the challenge uptake, and I started seeing people get arrogant. Yeah. Like Brother David said, tear it down. See, I started seeing people get arrogant. See, we got all kind of stuff comes in. We get floods of messages come in to promote the truth. Y'all know, because our messages, our stuff's out there everywhere, right? And I'm telling you, I started seeing the arrogance. This is really what hit us. The arrogance was getting crazy, where people were saying, well, you say this, but the scripture says, and they go, da, 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 da. And I'm sitting there looking at the real scriptures, not the Greek scriptures. I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm looking at what they're saying and how pompous and arrogant they are on the Greek 400,000 error translation. They're sitting there on a King James, a New King James, an NIV, you name it. Then you get some real arrogant ones that got some of the where the pagan names are moved out. That I own all of these. That's how Yahuwah said you gotta go do it. And he said, you edify, you promote, you show thanks, you be gracious to all the copies you got that stair-stepped you through the way. He said, you be thankful. And you edify and you promote, say, hey, congratulations. He said, but you tell the truth. You tell the truth. Now I'm telling you, I don't see one translation, name it. People come in, they quote all that stuff that is not have some. This is a big one. Pharisee, Talmud, quote, Jewish, heavy influence in it. I don't see one. I don't see one that's not heavily influenced. Do we know? Can we stop for a second? And I got a lot of friends that are Jewish and whatnot. I lived in a neighborhood for a long time, a couple years, 98.5% of the neighborhood was Jewish. Everybody got along, right? But they knew where I stood. This was on my front license plate of my car. I got one like that. Hey, Lena, can you bring that in here? Or Kai? Somebody bring my license plate. I'm in Columbia. But I took it off my car. Now look, they knew it in that neighborhood who I was. Right? And I'm showing love. See, that's what a lot of people don't get. To be strong, to be confident and show love. Stop arguing with people. Yahuwah sent me to tell you that too. Stop being arrogant. Stop being pompous. Stop. Bring your heat in love, you see. So when I'm talking to people, I'm like, look, this word y'all following, I got some friends that we close. And I say, if you go down with that, I believe you're going to go down in fire. Now I'm telling you, look, look at that. Look at that license plate. Yeah. That's on my front of my car. I got this in 2008. Yeah, and anywhere where I can have a license plate on the front of my car, I got that on there. So in a Jewish neighborhood, that's on the car, right? Now, why is that so significant that that's on front of the car? Because I see them out there sometimes pointing at it, right? Because that's the same people that do not want you to say this name, ever. These are the same people that if you said this name, they call it blasphemy. That's why they killed Yahushua, because he said the name and he claimed to be the name. That's why they went and got him. That's why they went and got him. And so the reason I'm laughing in my soul, because I feel breakthroughs coming in here. I can smell it. I can feel it in some of y'all. Y'all going, oh yeah, I need this message. Y'all, some of y'all go, I needed this one. This is going to make me a real worker. Now, if you go get this word, I'll tell you back to this arrogant thing that was coming in that sped up the project for the Briyt Hadash. Because I got people that was coming, hardcore Christians, hardcore. And guess what? Most of, I want to say every one of them, but there might be some sneaky one that I don't know. But every one that I've looked at, they got a lot of strong Christian influence, which hate Yahuwah. They hate Yahuwah, by the way. Y'all don't know if y'all get it. Let's stop beating around the bush. The Christian people, they hate Yahuwah. They hate that name. Hate it. They hate it. They don't ever want to hear it. They disgust them. Okay? Now, we got them on that side. Then we got over here on the Jewish side. And I'm going to clarify that, because you got Talmud Pharisee who argued and hated Yahushua. They called him a demon. I got people call me everything. So that's why I'm like, all right, don't feel good. It don't feel good when you know you're doing right and people talk bad about you. It don't feel good. But just like Yahushua, keep moving. Now, I don't see one of the translations out there that's not heavily Talmud Pharisee Jewish influenced. I'm looking at the words they're putting in there. I'm looking at the lettering. I'm going, there ain't no V's. There's no V's, right? There's no V's. There's no W's in Hebrew. That's like basic stuff. Like that's like milk. They know it, but they get the little vowel pointing and they do this and do that, and they go, oh yeah, we come up with this language. You can bring a rabbi of rabbis that's been in there for 80,000 years, walk up to me and come up here and start saying these V's and stuff. I'm gonna be like, I respectfully don't respect where you're coming from with that language. I don't respect it. But I got love for you, and I hope you see it. And I'll explain to you if you will listen. If you want to argue, I'm not going to get into it, because I'm going to keep it simple. And we're going to teach all of y'all the simplest way to know Hebrew ever. We're coming out with it and promote the truth. That's part of the push. We're going to teach everybody the simplicity. As soon as we get time on the site over there on the names, over there where we got all the names, we're going to put the Hebrew spelling next to each name. That way y'all pick up the patterns. Y'all be like, oh, got it. That's a B every time. That's an A every time. Y'all going to do it. Y'all going to do it. Y'all going to have it. Now, that's why everybody needs to go. If we can get a translation that's guaranteed not to have no Pharisee who hated Yahusha. Oh, we understand this. Look at the conundrum that the scriptures y'all been reading are in. The Bibles and the scriptures y'all got are full of contradictions, full of twisted motives, and they are battling between Christian who hates Yahusha, and then you got Pharisee Jewish who hates Yahuwah. And Yahusha is Yahuwah. And they hate. So you got hate all in them ones that you're reading. Full of hate of the Most High. And you go to tsnt.org, you go, I'm going to contribute. I'm getting in on this project. Why? Because I want my name on the roll. I want when I go up and see Yahuwah and you say, you call this to be. I'm telling y'all, Yahuwah called this to be, because how you know it's really fresh is when somebody is not just coming up and creating and doing it on their own. That's how you know. Didn't plan on doing it. Didn't really have no desire. I would rather be like all of y'all. Why I got to go take the time to translate? Why should I just be able to pick one up and then stop having to translate the translation? That's where I got to. It's crazy. And so you get to be on the roll call. When you go see Yahuwah, I feel in my spirit he's going to bring this up to you. I feel it with everything in my soul. He's going to bring up this moment to you. What did you do on this great calling? How did you support? We got a lady, she gave $3. She said, that's all I got. And I hope before the 7 weeks ends on the first push, on phase 1, I hope I can do another one, $3. Man, I was like, wow. You ain't got to do nothing and we still going to do it. And don't send no money into tsnt.org and promote. Don't send us anything if you ain't got a good heart. Like, don't do it. Like, if you sitting there going, well, I wonder this and how they going to do it. Don't do it. We ain't begging. Yahuwah's going to supply. He said, do it, call it out. I said, Yahuwah, I ain't said nothing to nobody about no money from 2007. I hadn't said anything to anybody. I know we probably put hundreds of thousands in there for the word. And y'all see them videos? Y'all know that production, what it costs to put all that out, and the time and the hours and the staff, right? Do you know if you had to hire somebody to do what we're doing that wouldn't have any bias, which is going to be almost impossible to find that person, but try to go hire the person that's going to have no bias. That's what I first was going to do. All the way back when I found Yahuwah's name and I started going at it at the end of 2007, that's when I came to the conclusion. I need my own translators. I need my own archaeologists. Y'all can go back from the videos years ago and hear me talk about this. Before this came up, y'all remember I talked about the project? I got to go find some of those videos where I was like, I got to go hire, and I budgeted it out how we could do this. And it was $150,000 to $200,000 a month to get our own archaeological team, to go get our own translator team, and to pay these people so much. Because my philosophy at first was, I'm going to get these translators in here, pay them a lot of money, and say, if I catch you one time slanting this, I'm going to fire you. Your money's gone. So I say, well, maybe that'll hold them. That ain't going to hold the people, because he's got all up in these people's heart. It just ain't too many. I mean, we're getting down to like a Noah situation with this. And I'm about to wrap it up. But this is now becoming like a Noah. Well, Yahuwah is looking throughout the entire world, and he's only finding a few. And who's going to translate this the right way and can't be manipulated? Man, I've had governments fire on me. I've had big corporations, multi-million-dollar corporations come at me. I've had staff. I've had executives. I've been fired when I'm out in the town for people trying to steal my shares in companies. Everything. Y'all know why all this hell been going down in my life since 2000, and guess what? 7. Been poisoned 2 times. Hospital. I know the people that poisoned me, like, how did he not die? Yahuwah says in his word, you won't die. I'm telling y'all, I've went through hell and high water since I called on his name. And I know why the opposition is there. Because I wanted to put together the project to tear it down. And then Yahuwah said, no. You're the one supposed to do it. And I'm like, what? That's why he won't let me do it these other ways. Because I done built massive businesses and they all get stolen. They've all got stolen so far. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm chasing millions right now in lawsuits all in different countries. And you scratch your head. You can't make any sense out of it. You're like, what is going on, Yahuwah? And finally, Yahuwah, in my spirit said, that's because I want you to do it. Don't you get it? I want you to do it. I'm like, Yahuwah, I don't have the resources I had all these times when I could have took the resources to do it. He goes, no, no, no. If you were to go try to go pay somebody to do it, it wasn't going to be done right. That's what I feel in my whole soul. I don't even know where this is coming from other than this is what you call alive, right? This is alive. It just wasn't going to get done right. Now, you can't buy me. You can't pay me off. You can't manipulate me. You can't even sue me into trying to scare me. I don't care who you are. I'll stand up on the front line. Nobody's got to guess where I'm at. I'm on the front line taking arrows from every direction. You want to know why? I carry his name on my forehead. It's on my innermost thoughts. And y'all consistently have seen it. And go back through the years. Go to 2007 and look at the people that we brought to Yahuwah from 2007. And nobody's been able to manipulate us. Nobody's been able to buy us. And there's going to be people trying to buy us now. There's going to be people go, look, we'll give you this much money, but we want it done this way. And I'm going to say no. What people don't get, when I was 23, 24 years old, I walked away from a multi-million-dollar contract in baseball. Yeah, you want to know why? Because I want to know the truth. Why am I here? And I don't care what that cost me physically. I don't care what that cost me. If I just kept my mouth shut, if I just went along with everybody, I mean, I've had times, fam, when we being raw here with each other, I've had times where I've had partners said, hey, if you just can like put your hand in the corner and don't just call out all the stuff that is going on, which means saying that products were one thing, but they're another thing, and ingredients are one ingredient, but they're another ingredients. And I'm like, no, that's wrong. You got to tell people the truth. We got to bring it. And they say, if you just be quiet, we'll make sure you keep getting paid. And at that time, we're talking about $60,000+ a month. If I would have just shut up, that quickly grew into $100,000 a month. And who you know has been in them situations and wouldn't take that money? I got that documented, proven fact that I literally a 6-figure a month residual. I said, nope. Still going through it in the courts about that. That's been since 2009. But Yahuwah finally said, you gotta just let this happen the way it's supposed to happen. Go and do it. Call out to the people. Get up, just start talking. None of y'all knew me. None of y'all knew me about it. Y'all saw Promote the Truth for years. Yahuwah 2020, when all hell came down against me, that's when it tried to make me just shut up. When all hell broke down, I literally hit the live button. I said, hey, if I'm going down in a blaze of esteem. I'm going to get out here on Front Street and I'm going to shout Yahuwah from the mountain. Satan, if you're going to attack me, you're going to attack me screaming and yelling Yahuwah. Let's go. And guess what? Look at all them videos on Promote the Truth. Look at that name video that's got over 300,000 views that will get to millions of views. Look at some of y'all. Y'all sent message after message after message saying, thank you, Promote the Truth, for putting out the truth. Yeah, you want to know why? Because we're going to go through persecution like you can't even imagine for his name. A servant is not greater than the master. We're going through it. But he said he'll bless us 100-fold in this lifetime. And even though I've had hell come around me, man, I made some of the greatest meals, had some of the greatest laughs, spent time with some of the greatest people, been able to travel and do things. And I'm like, I got people that came to my rescue, fam. People came to my rescue. Yahuwah sent them. He said, I'm going to prepare a banquet while you go through the fire. Now I get it. So if you feel called to this mission, then contribute. Get in here, go get in the trenches. I'm not talking about just money, which you should do that to help. But I'm talking about hit that share button. I'm talking about spread these videos out. I'm talking about witness. I'm talking about go print off the materials. Get those witness brochures like we did today. Y'all should all have these going out. We handed these out today while we was out and about. There's no day we don't hand these out. Yeah, we get these out. Y'all can do all this. Finishing with, are you a worker? Answer the question. Love for you to be able to be a part of what we're doing. Love to have your name on the road. I'll see y'all tomorrow. This was a hot one that I didn't even expect, but I'm a worker. Hopefully you are too. I love y'all. Bye-bye.
Only promote the truth.